We all know Hagoromo, the famous and the first Rikudo Sennin, was extremely powerful, and it's all thanks to the very fact that he awakened the Rinnegan eye due to him discovering the atrocities his mother was commuting. You might say, yes, so what? I remember all these. But that is not where I am going to. The question you need to ask yourself is, was Hagoromo the first Rinnegan user, and if yes, why? Now, you might argue that Kaguya awakened the Rinnegan eye on the middle of her forehead, so Hagoromo isn't the first Rinnegan user. But stay with me, for in today's video, we will be answering these questions. Welcome back to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Yeah, so guys, remember I said earlier in the beginning of this video that Hagoromo had the Rinnegan, and he's most likely the first person to awaken it in the history of the Narutoverse. But before I proceed, I want to remind you of the backstory of Hagoromo and how he awoke the Rinnegan. Hagoromo was the twin brother of Hamura Otsutsuki and the son of Princess Kaguya, who ate the forbidden chakra fruit of the god tree and obtained divine powers. Due to the forbidden fruit, Kaguya transferred her power to her own children, thereby making them the first wielders of chakra in the entire world. Everything was going smoothly with Hagoromo and his brother interacting with the villagers and helping them all until Hagoromo fell in love with Haori, a fellow villager unknown to him that she had initially been under the infinite Tsukuyomi spell that Kaguya had casted away much earlier before the birth of the twins. Now, there was a particular ritual that was going on in the village where some villagers were sacrificed to the god tree. Hagoromo tried to convince her to stay, but she declined, stating that it was her duty to serve the god tree. She gave him her necklace as a parting gift before saying her farewells and leaving. Disturbed by the sacrificial practices, the brothers decided to investigate the god tree further. Because the twin brothers were not satisfied with what was going on, despite their mother's objections, Hamura utilized his Byakugan to discover the grim fate of Haori and other inhabitants of the land of ancestors, who had become entangled in the tree's roots, serving as offerings to it. The revelation left them both enraged at their mother's actions. Enraged, Hagoromo awakens the Sharingan eye and faces his mother and discovers that she has control over his brother Hamura. This causes him to awaken the Rinnegan after a fierce battle. Hagoromo manages to break Kaguya's influence on Hamura by inflicting a serious injury. However, he then uses his remarkable abilities to heal his brother and save him from harm. A fierce battle then ensued between the brothers and their mother. Hamura managed to break free from his mother's Kaguya's control, unlocking the legendary Rinnegan, which is the natural progression of the Sharingan triggered by the trauma of harming his brother. Utilizing his medical expertise, Hagoromo nursed Hamura back to health, liberating him from Kaguya's grasp during their journey. The two brothers then united force to confront Kaguya, who had assimilated with the god tree and 10 tails, battling them to reclaim the chakra she had passed down to them. The intense battle between the brothers and their mother Kaguya waged on, marking a pivotal moment in the history of the ninja world. Their confrontation with Kaguya was a struggle where they had to face her overwhelming strength and unique abilities. Kaguya could manipulate dimensions, create massive destructive attacks, and even absorb chakra. She also summoned the 10-tailed beast in her fight against her sons. After a prolonged and intense battle, Hagoromo and Hamura succeeded in sealing Kaguya by employing the powerful 6 paths Chibaku Tensei technique. As part of the process, they extracted the 10 tails and sealed it within Hagoromo, making him the very first Jinchuriki of this mighty creature. The immense scale of the 6 paths Chibaku Tensei performed by the brothers was said to have formed the moon in the Naruto world. Following Kaguya's sealing, Hamura chose to relocate to the moon, both to safeguard the seal and remain close to their mother. In contrast, Hagoromo embarked on a journey, traveling far and wide to mend the damages caused by their intense conflict. Having seen the backstory of Hagoromo and how he awakened the Sharingan and then the Rinnegan, we will now answer the first question. Was Hagoromo the first Rinnegan user? As far as we know, Hagoromo was the first individual to acquire the legendary Dojutsu, the Sharingan and its natural progressions, the Mangekyo Sharingan and Rinnegan. Although there have been various theories about him not being the first because of the Rinne Sharingan that some members of the Otsutsuki clan had. While some others are of the opinion that the first ever person to awaken the Rinnegan could be Momoshiki, or one of his ancestors before they were absorbed. You might also argue and say we didn't know who the hell Momoshiki was and we saw Hagoromo first in the Naruto series. But we fail to remember that Hagoromo's existence predates Kaguya's arrival on Earth by a millennium. Some speculate that Momoshiki might not have possessed the Rinnegan at that time. But it is a known fact that Kaguya feared Momoshiki, Kinshiki, and Urashiki from the moment she came to Earth. As far as my knowledge goes, Momoshiki's Rinnegan is the source of his immense power and godlike abilities, setting him apart from others. So it's quite possible that Momoshiki had the Rinne Sharingan way before Hagoromo awakened his Rinnegan. But the first person on Earth to awaken the Rinnegan is Hagoromo. After him, it's Madara. So we are not entirely sure who had the Rinnegan first. But it might be safe to assume that it was one of the early Otsutsuki clan members before Momoshiki. Some other fans are of the opinion that Kaguya's Rinne Sharingan was the first to be awakened based on the Naruto anime since it preceded the Boruto anime. And that since there was limited information about the other Otsutsuki clan members who Kaguya ran away from. But I am of the opinion that Hagoromo was the first person to awaken the Rinnegan in the Naruto anime since we had no idea who the Otsutsuki clan was before. And his Rinnegan was in both eyes plus a full one unlike the one-eyed Rinne Sharingan that Kaguya had. Having answered this, we will now answer the final question as to why was Hagoromo the first person to awaken the Rinnegan. In the Naruto universe, Kaguya's sons Hagoromo and Hamura were both born with the Otsutsuki family trait of the Byakugan. However, after the death of his loved one, Hagoromo awakened the Sharingan and after almost killing Hamura, awakened the Rinnegan. So here are some plausible reasons as to why this happened. Hagoromo was the son of Kaguya Otsutsuki who had the Rinne Sharingan. The Rinne Sharingan is the ancestor of all the other Sharingan variations including the Rinnegan. It is also possible that Hagoromo inherited some of the genes that allowed his mother to have the Rinne Sharingan, which gave him the potential to awaken the Rinnegan himself. Another valid reason would be because he had a very high chakra level. The Rinnegan is a very powerful dojutsu and it requires a lot of chakra to use. Hagoromo was said to have an incredibly large chakra reserve which gave him the power to use the Rinnegan to its full potential. Also, we all know that to awaken the Sharingan, one has to pass through some trauma from a loved one. And it's when the Sharingan is awakened that the Rinnegan can come forth, so it's possible that the great deal of trauma he experienced was part of the reasons. The Rinnegan is said to awaken in people who have experienced great trauma or loss. Hagoromo fought his brother Hamura in a battle and dealt a grievous injury to him before breaking his mother's control over him. This was the trauma that caused him to awaken the Rinnegan. It is also possible that Hagoromo was simply the first person to be born with the genetic potential to awaken the Rinnegan. However, the fact that he was the son of Kaguya and had a very high chakra level as well as the trauma he experienced all likely contributed to his ability to awaken the Rinnegan. However, now the way the Rinnegan can be awakened has changed a bit with no necessary trauma needed to awaken the Rinnegan, although in Madara's case, it was after he was defeated by Hashirama and left for dead that he awakened his Rinnegan. But in Sasuke's case, he was granted the eye by the sage of the six paths himself, Hagoromo. In addition to the reasons mentioned above, it is also possible that Hagoromo's awakening of the Rinnegan was a sign of his destiny. He was destined to become the sage of the six paths and lead the world into a new era of peace. The awakening of the Rinnegan was a symbol of his newfound power and responsibility. Ultimately, the reason why Hagoromo was the first person to awaken the Rinnegan are still a mystery. However, the factors listed above likely played a role in his ability to do so. Hamura, on the other hand, had the Byakugan and passed that down to his Otsutsuki descendants that lived on the moon, as well as his descendants that lived on Earth, the Yuga. There is also a Byakugan equivalent of the Rinnegan, the Tensegan, that was first awakened by Hamura and can be awakened by mixing the blood of the Yuga and Otsutsuki of the Moon clans. Its powers are similar to that of the Rinnegan. In conclusion, Hagoromo Otsutsuki's journey show how destiny, his family background, and his own development led to the remarkable awakening of the Rinnegan. As the first to possess this powerful eye technique, his impact on the world of Naruto is unforgettable. inspiring countless shinobi for generations to come and shaping the fate of the ninja world forever. What do you think about these reasons? Do you agree with them? And if not, do tell us in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to get updates on new videos.